Hey everyone, I hope you are all doing well. It's me again. I'm gonna talk today about an interesting topic that a few people have brought up. A few people have asked me, actually, a lot of people have been asking me how I've been learning German and what I've been doing in terms of methods, methodology, and so on. So I'm gonna share that with you all tonight. It's really late. It's really late here, but I had a late workout, so my endorphins are kind of still, yeah, I'm still wide awake right now, so it's good. Um, so yeah, the first thing I did was I registered for a class, really spontaneous, and I learned German 1, 2, and 3, German 1, 2, 3, and 4 with this book, Kontakte, and it was a really good book. Learned a lot of basic German, and yeah, so I did that. Um, but obviously, I didn't have class during winter break, and winter break was a month long. So what am I gonna do for a month? Not learn German? Of course not, because I'm really obsessed with the language. Obsession is really an understatement of how I feel about the language, which is necessary to learn the language, in my opinion. I'll talk about that later. Um, so during these breaks, I would go on websites and German, English, German dictionaries and look up words just out of curiosity. People say that curiosity killed the cat. Um, it may have killed the cat, but it sure makes your language better, in my opinion. So I did that, and by German 2, I had already learned some of the stuff because of winter break, and then I did the same thing over the summer. I learned a lot of German. I had 3 months or 2.5 months to learn a lot of German, and German 3, it was easier and easier because I kept teaching myself a lot of German just through websites and words and um, sometimes grammar tips, but I focused mainly on words and verbs. Yeah, so I did that German 3, and then when I was in German 4, I did the same thing. Stumbled across an internship in southern Germany, and I was there for 2 months. And when I was there, I realized how limited my German actually was. So, what to do, or what did I do? I purchased a notebook, and every single word that I learned or that I heard that I didn't know, I wrote down in this notebook. And sometimes people would speak really fast or in dialect, which I didn't understand too well at the time. Um, I would just write these words down and make a list, flip through them, learn them, use them, listen really intently on what people are saying to me. Um, my German was really limited, like I said, so people resorted to English, unfortunately, which I didn't like. But I would listen to people when they were speaking German to each other, Germans to other Germans, which was good. So I did that for 2 months, and I came back to America, and I got into contact with a lot of Germans on Facebook, and I later added people on Skype. Um, what else? MySpace a little bit at that time. I don't use MySpace anymore. Um, so a lot of reading, um, writing. I read a lot of their statements when they were typing. So okay, I read words, and I had to practice my typing. When we spoke over Skype, I had to practice my speech, obviously, and listening. So four aspects of language learning: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So I did that. Also, so I took some more courses as well. I had a business German course, get familiarize myself with German words. This was kind of the icing on the cake. This has a lot of. We didn't really use this. Um, it was more like a German German 5 with grammar, but business on the side. But I was really interested in this, so I read. I didn't read the whole thing, but it was interesting. It was good. Um, What else? My last German class before I graduated, I had to read an array of books. I have a few of them, but they were from Nobel Prize winners. So Hermann Hesse, for example, who's really good, or Thomas Mann, really good author. Um, Hesse is actually one of my favorite authors. Yeah, I have another book from him. I'll get it out later. Um, yeah. So also, I was really interested in slang because I had no idea what anyone was talking about, and I didn't want to speak like a robot. I think I'll make a video later about different parts of the language. If you want, yeah, I'll make it pretty soon actually. But I was flipping through this book of slang, and yeah, so more than 4,000 words. So am I gonna memorize 4,000 words? No, of course not. Of course not. But I did want to test out these words, and I asked a few Germans about a list of random words, and they didn't know most of them. So I didn't really learn slang through this book, but I learned um, more slang through talking, communication. Because after, I mean, for a while, I'll talk about that later. But I learned a lot of slang through talking with my friends. But obviously, that's not all I wanted to speak. It's not enough. But so I lived in Germany for a year, and when I was there, I bought a lot of books, a lot of magazines, movies, and so on. Um, so movies. Okay, I have to say this. An important part of language learning for me is having fun with the language. So when I was watching movies, I bought movies that I obviously enjoy, and so I would enjoy the movie, and then I would hear German at the same time, which was more enjoyable for me, and which was, and then obviously learn new German words sometimes, and just enjoy that more. Like, oh, okay, I learned what this means in German, so good, write it down, memorize it, and then later I would use that, and it's good. So obviously I have Inglorious Bastards. I love Tarantino, so of course I bought all of his movies in German. Um, let's see, different genres are really important because different genres, you're gonna have different language, you're gonna have a different tempo, you're gonna have a different way of speaking in these movies. So The Lives of Others, it's translated to English, but it's a German movie. Really good movie. Different. Also, what are movies without comedies? So this movie was different. Yeah, and I learned a lot with this. Had a good time with that. It's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Just having a good time with the language. It's critical. Let's see what else. Okay, so books as well. So I mentioned Hesse before. I know I've shown this book before in a different video. Poetry. It has different German in it. More deep or deeper German. Different kind of older words that I want to familiarize myself with. Why not? Am I going to use them? No. But if someone, well, not necessarily. I might use them. I want to be ready. That's my whole thing. I want to be ready if someone um, wants to, test my German out. Then I want to be ready for it. What else? I'm obviously interested in language learning. So this guy Wolf Schneider, he's a German author, and he's a, how do you say this? He's a language. He preserves a language. Sprachpfleger in German. And his German is obviously really good because he doesn't want the language to become extinct. Not to become extinct, but to become anglicized, because German is getting anglicized a lot. There's a lot of English words coming into German and so on. Really good German. had a really good time reading this book. I don't really read a lot in English, but just hitting two birds with one stone. Um, yeah, and now that I say that, hitting two birds with one stone, um, I obviously was really interested in idioms, so I know I had a book somewhere about idioms, but I learned a lot of idioms as well. Um, a lot of friends taught me idioms, idiomatic expressions, slang idioms. Just wrote them down in my books. I'll show them pretty soon. Also, magazines, things I'm interested about in general that I would read, that I could read in English, obviously. Um, yeah, I read this. I love I love psychology and how the brain works and all that. So I bought this book about, yeah, it's a psychology magazine. Um, yeah, just kind of reading and getting information, learning about the language, learning new things, and so on. Um, let's see. So, yeah, I have my iPod. Um, so, reading and speaking is really important. I speak a lot of German. A thing I do is, as I'm getting this, I don't know how some of you are gonna uh, think about this, but sometimes I resort, if I'm not speaking to any Germans, I'll speak. I mean, I'll just speak to myself. I do it all the time. I ask myself, what is that, or what is that? It's being the curiosity thing, and trying to formulate my own sentences in German spontaneously, or what is that, or describing people. Why is that? Why is that person acting like that? Or what is she wearing? Um, or describing, looks, personalities, anything. It just gets wider and wider and wider and wider every time. Um, it's just a game I play. Um, Obviously, I don't do it when I'm around people. That would be kind of annoying, but I love doing that. It's every little thing, every little idiom you could do. I also listen to podcasts. I don't think you could see it. I mean, you don't really see podcasts. You listen to them, but I listen to podcasts a lot. Um, and very traditional German to improve that level of German. Yeah, I do that as well. And in terms of the notebooks, I've written. Let's see. In this book alone, I have like my two latest notebooks are this one and this one. I am getting a red one that matches these soon, so it'll be like my German colored notebooks. And I know I'm crazy. I'm really obsessed about German. I just love it. Yeah, so this one has nouns in it, and this one has nouns in it, just random order, not alphabetical order or anything. Um, this one has verbs, adjectives, basically everything other than nouns. Um, Verbs, adjectives, or verbs, adverbs, adjectives, expressions, which are really important. Um, I mentioned hit two birds with one stone. Yeah, that expression's in here, for example. Really, really important. So um, I think that's it. The most important thing that I do is is be curious. That's the one message that I want to give. Just be curious about the language and about the language you're learning. If it's German, piece of cake. If it's anything else, piece of cake. I mean, you have to be curious about it, um, curious about the unknown, and then when you're just baby steps, and then you're up at the top of the stairs. You look down. Wow, I've learned a lot, and that's basically how I'm learning German right now. The process will never stop. I'm gonna keep going forever and ever, and I think that's all. So if you have any questions, then let me know. Ciao.